So now we come to the featured race on Saturday's card at Churchill Downs. It's the Stephen Foster. It's race 11. It's a grade 1, run at a mile and an eighth for 4-year-olds and up. And this is a really good field. Certainly First Mission would be the one who pops out right away. And Disarm, who was was a really nice horse at the end of last year and has shown quite a bit of potential. Very interested to see what he does here as an older horse, being by Gunrunner. You've got Dreamlike and Kingsbarns for Todd Pletcher. You've got the classic Causeway, who Kenny McPeak just can't find a place that really fits for. And then you've got a couple of Florida imports, Steel Sunshine and for Bobby DeBona, and Skippy Longstocking for Safi Joseph, who has shown some pretty good improvement as he's gotten older. So I think this is an extremely competitive field. We'll take a look at it, and we'll go through them one by one. Classic Causeway, I just think needs more ground. This horse seems to be one that needs to get on the lead, set really soft fractions, but he doesn't demonstrate the kind of kick necessary at these shorter distances, and they've been running him longer, and I think that's really where he needs to be. But how many mile-and-a-half races can you find on the dirt? So they have to put him in a race to get him in somewhere, and I think that's the extent of his involvement here. He'll be on the lead, more than likely, but I don't see him being there at the end. So to me, he's a pretty easy toss. Pyrenees is one that has, for Cherie DeVoe, who's having a nice meet at Churchill, is on a 4-race win streak. Beat Kingsbarns last time and drew off pretty impressively. But, the thing is, if you go back and look at that 4-race win streak, he's run the same way every time. Slow, early, big, late. Slow fractions. Hasn't been asked early on in a race to do much. And consequently, he's got a fair amount of kick late. Now, beating Kingsbarns, I thought, was his biggest test yet, and it is impressive that he continues to progress. His class rating is improving as the race rating is improving, and you've heard me talk about that before, and that's a really nice thing to see in a horse. But I'm really troubled by the fact that he just doesn't run a lot early at all. And he's had soft pace after soft pace race, and of course he's going to have plenty left. Now, he's got quality. There's no doubt about it. But this is a grade 1 race, and I'm fairly certain the pace will be a little stronger, and we're just going to have to see if he can handle it at this point. Now, 12-1 on the morning line is a nice price for this one, but he screams to me wise guy horse, and I just don't like seeing a horse who has to have that type of scenario where everything is so soft and easy for him early that of course he's going to have plenty late. So I'm really on the fence with Pyrenees. You want to put him in the mix, okay, I understand, but I just think I want to find horses that are a little more competitive and have shown something running throughout the race as opposed to just at the end of it. And that's really my assessment of Pyrenees. First Mission, this is a grade 1 race. This is a horse with talent. What I really like about him here is that if you look at his running lines, he can run on the front end with a solid pace and have something left. I think this is a field that there's a lot of horses in it who really don't want to do a lot of running early. And I think that's extremely advantageous for First Mission. I think whoever gets on the lead, whether it be Classic Causeway or even Kingsbarns, who I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go to the lead, he's just going to sit off them, and he's going to push the button, and when it's time to go, he's going to be gone. I just don't see where there's anybody here who is going to really give him a big challenge on the front end or up near it. And if they try to slow the pace down, all the better. That means he's going to have a lot more in the tank left. So to me, tactically, class-wise, everything points to First Mission, and he's 6-5 on the morning line for a reason. He ought to be, and I think he is my win candidate here. And I think he's this is a scenario where everything points to him running a big one. So I'll take First Mission. Disarm would be certainly one that I think is probably the horse who's the second choice. And again, it's because he can handle fractions early on that are an honest pace or even a little on the quick side. His last race, that was a paid workout. I mean, they put him on the front end. They slowed it down to a crawl. He might as well have been on the Oklahoma track at Saratoga. It was just a training race. Not indicative. This horse can run a lot better than that, and we know it. Coming in second off the layoff, I think as a gun runner, he's entitled to move forward at 4. And I think this horse is going to run a very good race. Whether or not it's good enough to beat First Mission, not overly certain, but I think he has the talent. He has the running lines that show me that he is certainly a horse who can win this race. And he's a great value play. If you can get him at 6-1 or around there, he's an awesome value play. Definitely have to use Disarm. Kingsbarns, you really cannot like that last race when Pyrenees beat him. I mean, he was up on soft fractions. He took over in the stretch and couldn't hold off Pyrenees. This horse really has never shown to me a whole lot of grit. And that to me is very troubling at the grade 1 level, stepping up here. He's another one. Can he get into the mix? Sure. It's entirely possible. But also note, Todd Pletcher is having an awful meet by his standards, Fred Churchill Downs. And, this horse, I'm just not sure he's a grade 1 horse. That's really what it comes down to. You want to put him in underneath in the exotics, I can see it. But I'm going to look for value elsewhere because you just can't like that last race. It was second off the layoff. He ran a very similar race that he did off the bench. And that looks to me like I'm not so certain he's got another step forward in him, really, is what it comes down to. So I'm not very high on Kingsbarns in this spot, but if you want to put him underneath, I think he's an underlay at whatever price he gets because of the IRAD tax. So Kingsbarns not very high on. Now, Skippy Longstocking to me was all last year, it seemed that this was a grade 3 horse. You put him in a grade 3 stakes, and that's where he runs best. Every time they moved him up, crash. However, I think this horse is getting better, and I think his last race showed me in the Oaklawn Handicap that there's this horse is going to be pretty prominent in the older division. He looked good to me. I thought he ran a really good race. Even from the 10 hole, he got right to where he wanted to, sat right off the pace, and when the time came, boom, he was gone. I really like Skippy Longstocking here. I'm not happy with him at 5-2, but I think he is certainly one that if somebody is going to win other than First Mission, I think Skippy Longstocking and Disarm are the two prime win candidates, and he's a must-use for me. Now, we come to the horses running off the pace, and Dreamlike, his last race, I didn't like at all. He blew the turn. He was wide and wandering all over the place, and just didn't look like a very professional horse to me. Now, you keep in mind that this horse only has one win, and, I remember prior to the Wood Memorial running in his in a maiden race, and a Bill Mott horse beat him, and his name escapes me right now. But he had every chance to win that race and just couldn't do it. And he's a horse who just seems to be content with second or third. I think maybe he waits for horses. Can he run a big one here and get into the money? Sure. But you really can't like him. If you watch that last race, I mean, he just was wandering all over the place. It was just not a very professional win. And I'm not high on Dreamlike to win this race, but being a late runner, given some of the limitations of some of the other horses, and with a decent price at 10-1 morning line, I think you can bank on him with a good chance to get underneath in the exotics, and that's what the asterisk means. Same thing with Steel Sunshine. Now, he's running in a distance that's longer than he probably wants, But one thing I like about this horse is that he's a hard knocker. He always puts his best foot forward. He's certainly more content or more comfortable at a one-turn race, I think. But I just like his grit and his determination, and you're certainly going to get a price. And for that reason, I think you can use him underneath for your try or your super. And for that, I would use him only to that extent. And again, that's what the asterisk means. Now, Happy American being a closer, I don't think anything sets up well for him at all. His form is not good. It hasn't been good since the fairgrounds early last year. And this horse just, I just think he's overmatched. That's what it comes down to. He would probably need pace to run to. I don't think he's going to get much of it here, although it does remain to be seen what kind of pace scenario we have. But I just don't like anything about Happy American in this spot. And he would be the extent, you want to put him underneath in the trifecta only, or maybe the super, okay, but that's the extent of it. So we take a look at our wagering strategy. First Mission is my choice to win this race, and I think this is a dream setup for him. And if he doesn't win now, he may never win a Grade 1, in my opinion. The value play is absolutely Disarm. If anybody's going to beat him, I think Disarm can. The question will be, to me, if he can get a little closer to the pace that he normally runs. I think that's important here. But he's got the class and the talent, and being a gun runner, again, I think a move forward is highly likely. So Disarm looks awful good to me. I would throw a win bet on him at 6-1. You get anything near that, that's an outstanding price. So he's the win bet, and he would also be a value play for sure. Now, as far as the exacta, I'm going with First Mission at Disarm cold. I think that's a very logical exacta. We'll back it up with 2 on top with 4 and 9. And then as a saver, we'll put Disarm on top with 2 and 9. The trifecta, we're going to key. To me, these are the 3 horses who have shown the running lines to run at solid fractions and at the Grade 1 level. And that's why I'm going with those 2. We'll put a heavy try in 2 with 4-9, 4-9. Then we'll have a secondary one with 2 on top with 4-9 with 4-5, 8-9. Dreamlike and Steel Sunshine underneath. And then one more time, we'll go 2 with 4-9 with all. And we have a really good shot, I think, of hitting all 3. And certainly if we do, we're going to get paid, and that's what it's all about. So to me, First Mission is the one to beat here, with a very solid challenge from Disarm and possibly Skippy Longstocking in what is a pretty good Stephen Foster.